Hello and welcome to Impact Africa, our bold move online talk show where we get to have conversations with people and organizations who are impacting lives positively. This is a special series for our Youth Month celebrated in South Africa in June. And this is your girl, Kemi Akiode Adebayo Mama K. And in today's episode, I've got a young serial entrepreneur, dynamic young man by the name of Moises Mukuna.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Moses. And he's the owner and founder of MNM Multimedia. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Kemi. It's a pleasure to be here.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love what you're wearing for a start.
No, thank you very much. I try to look my best whenever I'm in front of a camera.
That's good.
Because you never know who's watching.
You never know.
Yeah,
You never
true.
know. Tell me, or tell us, who is Moses? Oh, and I know Moses is spelled in French,
ISE, yes, and Moses is the English version of Moise.
Moise.
Which is in
so it's
French.
pronounced Moise.
Moise.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, basically, Moses is simply, I don't like to give myself titles, I like to think of myself as simply being a guy,
A guy.
Just a guy who is trying to do...
I've not heard that one.
Yeah, I'm just a guy who is trying to do his best in life, basically,
Okay.
Yeah.
And where are you from?
I'm originally from the DRC, which is the Congo, Kinshasa side, because there's two of them. There's Congo, Brazzaville, and the Kinshasa. So people usually kind of,
I get
it wrong.
I still can't get it right.
Yeah, so I'm from the Kinshasa side. Yeah.
What's the difference between?
Basically, it's different countries which are separated by a river as the border.
Okay.
So it's different countries with different presidents. I think it used to be the same, country. But as civilization goes along, there's divisions.
The other.
Yeah, so I think that's why they separated themselves, and that's why they have like the same, Congo names.
Probably similar to the likes of Sudan, where Sudan separated. You now have South Sudan.
Exactly.
So you're from a family of how many?
Oh, we are a lot.
Okay.
Our Congolese families, our forefathers, we are big families.
Okay.
And my own, we are 10 or 11.
Wow.
Sometimes I confuse.
And your number, your position?
I'm like 8th.
You're down there.
I'm down there, we are like, there's 7 sisters before me.
Okay.
And there's 3 boys. So actually it's 7 sisters, 3 boys, and then 1 last young girl. So we are 11.
11,
actually.
Almost a football team.
Exactly.
I'm the same, I can relate.
Yeah.
But I'm the first. I'm up there.
Oh, okay.
So you're down there.
I'm down there. Yeah.
Wow. So what was life for you in Kinshasa, or where were you born? Exactly.
I was born in Kinshasa, yes.
Okay.
And I left when I was really young. I was like 14.
14.
And that time, it wasn't really life, because I was a young child, and it was basically school, going to school, coming home, playing, that was basically my life. Yeah. So
why did you leave? What brought you? Did you leave for South Africa or somewhere else?
Yes. When I left, I came to South Africa for the purpose of, studying.
Okay.
And it was a decision that my father took, because, education back home is not really that sophisticated. And so my father judged it best for me to come study abroad, So initially the plan was not for me to come to South Africa. I was to go overseas, but because
the real overseas,
because
not within the African
South Africa is still Africa, So I was supposed to go to the real overseas,
okay.
But because there was no relatives, that I was going to go to.
That's an African
So,
thing.
yeah.
You can't send you anywhere.
You can't
have
just
to go
send it.
to- you have
Yes,
to go to
exactly,
where-
because
okay.
you don't. You know, when a child has the liberty, when he's alone in a foreign country.
And at
Yeah,
such a young
it's
age as well.
it's the influence. You know, it's going to be too much, and is kind of going to be vulnerable to a lot of influences. So my father was like, because since there was someone here,
So you had relative here.
yeah, I had not like a relative, but like
Somebody
from home.
DRC,
Yes.
Yeah. Everybody is
yeah.
related to everybody in
Yeah,
Africa.
exactly. We're all brothers.
My sons used to tell me, I remember when they were growing up, sorry for cutting you in
That's
there.
okay.
They used to tell me, I would say, oh, this one, auntie, uncle. How many aunties were I was like, no.
Yeah.
Nigerian auntie, Nigerian uncle. Real auntie, real uncle. So
Exactly.
when they meet somebody now and I say auntie, they say, okay, is this one real? Or
Yeah, exactly. You know, so everybody's related
the
basically.
family. Okay,
African,
so
yeah.
you came?
Yeah, so I
okay.
came to this other brother who was a child of my father's friend.
Okay.
That was 2010. I was, I think, 14 at the time.
Okay.
Yes. And I came to him, and you know, so he received me
And were
well.
you in Cape Town or
I came in
elsewhere?
Cape Town.
You came
You
to
know, I've
Cape
lived
Town.
in Cape Town since I came here. I've never moved.
Okay.
But I've traveled to Joburg, Pretoria sometimes, but most of my life I've lived
Yes,
it in Cape Town.
So you got to Cape Town. What have you been doing?
I've been studying since.
Studying.
I've been
What
studying
did you
since.
study?
Like I started high school in grade 9, I think. Grade 9 until I matriculated. And I've done some university course. I was doing initially electrical engineering.
Okay.
But then I had to switch to graphics design. And
Why
the
the
reason
switch?
for that was when I started studying electrical, it wasn't something that was my choice.
Whose
And
choice was this? Your father?
okay, let me choose my words carefully because
Before you get into trouble.
Before I
Don't
get
worry,
into trouble, you know.
I know
because
parents used to impose on,
exactly.
you know, or family.
Yeah, you know, which is I think it's a big mistake. I'm really sorry if my father is going to be listening to this, but you know,
it's far away.
Yeah, you know, so he can't do anything to me right now.
You can only
You
say,
know,
why did you
yeah.
say that?
You know, so I've always been against, you know, this African rhythm where the parents has to kind of, let me not say impose, but you know, kind of. No, let me go with impose because I think it's an imposition.
Yeah, it is.
You know, most parents, they impose the child, you know, what he has to study, regardless of what, you know, the drive of the child is.
Oh, the talent.
Oh, the talent, yeah. Because
that
for
child
me,
has
yeah,
exhibited.
I think that parents need to really take a time and at a young age see what is the talent of the child and drive them into that, you know, direct them into that field of, you know, because I think when a child has a talent, the talent is like a momentum. And if we have studied physics, a momentum is a force that pushes people, you understand? So I think parents need to invest in what the talent of the child is, you know?
Let me be on your father's side, you know, in a little bit, because this is personal as well to me. And I felt like you felt as well. My father is a lawyer, he's a retired lawyer now in Nigeria, and he imposed, but an African way, everybody in Africa, especially West or Central Africa, normally wants their children to be an engineer, a lawyer or a doctor.
Yeah, those three things, yes.
It's those three things. So he was a lawyer, thank God. He was a teacher before he became a lawyer. And basically, I have to share this, so I'm helping your dad a little bit here, if he's watching. He used to take me to court. He used to do all those things, even though before the age, you know, actually went to school. But when I went to school, I didn't get into law. I did psychology, and I finished. He still said, no, I'm setting you up in my chambers. And what did I do? I ran away. I ran away from home. No, I'm not joking. When I say ran away, I didn't tell him I was traveling. I bought
you just left.
I didn't have the money. I borrowed money from my friend's mom, you know, to say I would return it. And the day before was when I told him that, Dad, you know what? I'm traveling to the UK. What are you going to do? I had to now lie.
Oh.
Sorry. I said, I'm going to study law. That was the only reason he allowed me to go. He said, okay, because he thought, okay, you're going to study law. Because if not, if I had said nothing,
He wasn't going to.
he would not allow. He would have returned that money and stopped me. But listen to this. How many years down the line, I have my son and he wants to, is deciding on what profession, to do. And I was now like, because what you said with invest in the talent, know your child's talent, I thought as well too that the profession for him was law. And I remember telling him that, oh yeah, I think you'd be good at it. He said, no, Mom, I don't want to do that. I said, no, but you told you do that. And I said, no, Mom, I don't want to do that. But thank God they are vocal. They won't run anywhere. But he came back from school and said, oh, I want to do sports management. And I said, no. So I'm just trying to tell you, you're saying that now. Maybe when you have a child as well,
maybe
the
I'm
story
going
too will
to. The story might change. But I don't think my story is going to change because I have really made up my mind.
Right.
Because you know what happened to me? Those years when I was studying electrical, I have to be honest, I was emotionally scarred. Because even though I was studying, the Bible says we have to obey. So I was obeying, honor the parents. So I was going based on those words, but it was a big emotional burden for me, because I didn't like it at all. I found myself, banking school.
And you were far away as well.
I was far away, so I was not attending classes. I found myself, there was a period when I wouldn't go to school for like 2 weeks. I was missing classes just because the passion was not there. You understand what I'm saying? So it was something very heavy, and I don't know if my father was not understanding that, or I don't know, maybe it's, the way he was also raised based on imposition or, something like that. So there came a point where I was like, I decided like, no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not moving because I was failing my courses, my lessons, and I had to repeat a lot of subjects. And I was like, this is a waste of my father's money and my own time. So in 2018, I think I was like, you know what? That's it.
Enough.
I've had enough.
So I
just made a switch myself. I didn't ask my father. Okay, I told him that, Father, you know what? I'm dropping this. I'm wasting your money, and I'm wasting my time. So I told him clearly, like, I'm going to study something that I have a passion for. So I left because I was studying at CPUT, the one in Belleville. And so, I left and I went to apply for an online course in graphics design. That was UCT. And that was 2018 or 19, I think.
We'll be right back. Obviously, it's an interesting journey. Your dad, wanted you to do this, which is typical of most parents in old school in Africa. And then you basically now started doing what you wanted to do. So how has that been, in terms of the graphic design? Because you said, yes, you did online at UCT, and then now you've founded and started this MNM Multimedia. I'm assuming it's Moises Mukuna. What's the N?
Yeah, MNM is the initials of my name, which is Moises Nankwaya, which is my father's name, and Mukuna.
You see why he wanted you to do it? You bear his name as well.
Exactly.
So what is his own profession? What is
he's a pilot. Yeah.
Oh, which is totally even different.
So you know what happened? So because he's a technical person, I think that is why he wanted to drive the boys of the family to be in the same line. Same as the story you told me about your father who was a lawyer, and he kind of wanted you to follow the same footstep, But I think that cycle needs to break,
Well, we've let them. The two, they've done what they're doing. I can try and encourage my grandchildren when they come, but I'm backing off now because I've seen that.
We can encourage them, but the final decision needs to be their own. Exactly,
and let them make the mistakes.
Exactly, because otherwise they will find themselves doing stuff they don't want, they don't like, and like I said, it's going to be an emotional. You understand? So
a waste of money as well.
And a waste of money, and schooling is expensive.
It is.
Because I did the mathematics of how much is spent. That was almost $500,000 rand.
You told him?
I told him, I was like, this money, I could have actually used it for something productive. I could have established a big business with that kind of money. But then he had to waste it on something that at the end of the day, I dropped out. So it kind of was like a waste, like a total waste of money,
Let's now talk about your entrepreneurship journey. How has that been? When did you start?
This journey has started when I was like 14 back home. What my mindset was kind of set into this field of entrepreneurship. When I was back home, my father used to have an internet cafe, which I was seeing
with his piloting.
He was a pilot because
they get time off.
Yes, yeah. So he built this internet cafe, like a side kind of thing. And I was single-handedly handling that business. I was the one who was there, working there. Right. And that kind of, set me on the path of, wanting to do my own thing. Because, the thing is, I believe that being a child, childhood is a period of time where a child is programmed. Their subconscious is programmed. Whatever they are doing when they are a child, it's going to be the momentum I was speaking about. So that kind of, being working for my father, it kind of gave me the taste of, wanting to do my own thing when I grew up. So that's what set me to the path of doing computer-related things like graphics design and all that, because that is what I grew up doing. So when I came to this country, I was studying, but while I was studying, I was also doing my side gigs, to find something, bread and all that. So yeah, I always had that spirit, that drive to always, do my own thing. Because I have, when it comes to the normal way people are living, there's a lot of things that I don't agree with. And I think I will go into detail on that. But basically, so that's how I got my spirit of entrepreneurship. It started when I was young, and then I kind of grew up into it. Yeah.
That's interesting. So now your journey as an entrepreneur, so you do graphic design for people.
Yes.
You have an internet cafe.
I have an internet cafe.
Where is that?
It's in Belleville.
In Belleville,
yes.
So you employ people?
Yes, I've actually employed 5 people so far.
Wow, well done.
I have to say I'm kind of proud of myself.
You're proud of yourself. So
it's
Can I ask how old you are? Can I be nosy?
I'm 25 now.
25. Wow, well done.
Yeah. And it's not every 25 years old who can, say that they have had people under their employment, So it's
That's
kind
why
of, whenever I think of that, I'm like, kudos, Moses. Yeah.
And it's good you actually acknowledging that as well, and you're proud of yourself, in that. So
yeah, indeed.
What are your plans for the future as an entrepreneur?
To be honest with you, the way things are going currently, looking at this pandemic that has struck us, I have to say everything has changed. Like, whatever dreams and plans I had, it kind of like, it's like everything is on pause right now, I'm not really sure. I'm not sure exactly like what exactly I want to do because it's like everybody right now is in kind of like a survival mode, where they are trying to figure out, what the way forward is. Everything is just not normal at the moment. Yeah. So I can't really say I have a set plan at the moment. But
where do you see yourself in the future? Well, where would you like to see yourself?
I would like to see myself back home.
Okay.
Let me explain why. With all this thing happening, when the coronavirus came, everything just changed, and there was this deep emotional depression that I believe everybody has felt and is still feeling at the moment. And the only thing that was in my mind was like, oh gosh, I want to be home. I want to be home.
What specifically were you looking forward to?
Back home in Congo.
Family?
In family, yeah.
Okay,
I was like, I want to be with family because, even though, our country is Congo, there's, poverty and all that. But there's that feeling when you are home, the feeling that you feel when you're home, it's just something else, regardless of the conditions. You just feel there's this peace that you feel. And, because when I was here, I was feeling like, is this the end of the world or what? And I was like, I'm tired of this. So I was like, let me go home. And I think whatever my future plans will be, when I figure them out, I think it's going to involve home. Yeah, because our country like Congo, it's a very rich country. Even though we don't really see, there's trouble. We don't really see the wealth of our country, because of the reasons we all know. Our leaders and those controlling them. I don't want to get into politics, but we don't do politics. But still, but there is money, and I think there's one thing I always tell people, and it always gets me in hot water. This thing of our education systems, which I totally hate. There's a lot of things that I think we need to adjust when it comes to the normal way, the education system kind of, I call it brainwash, or, I think there's a lot of things that need to be changed about that. Updated, basically, yes. It's like a,
it's still archaic.
It's very archaic, and I think one of the reasons why I think our African countries are still in poverty, I think it's because of this educational system, which, like you say, it needs to be updated,
So how do you think? What are some of the solutions that you can think of as a young person?
I think the best solution is, because what the problem is? There's this thing I always say, which is, people don't know, people don't have the skills, and people don't know how to find bread.
Right.
Let me explain. One of the driving force, one of the momentum that really pushed me into becoming like a self-made entrepreneur is, I've looked at my, people around me, my friends, and we used to suffer together. Like we'll find ourselves in situations where, hustle, we were struggling to even find the smallest things, and something just clicked inside of me, and I was like, this has to change. And that's when I started, finding ways of like, making money and, and that was like one of the driving force that, kind of helped me to start, hustling, finding ways to make money. And, that's how I got myself the internet cafe, which, I think that was 2017 that I built myself like an internet cafe.
And you already had the experience from
I already had the
dad
experience from the dad.
leading you,
Yeah.
you leading or
exactly.
taking control of
so back to what I was saying. I think the education system, I don't want people to get me wrong, because whenever I start talking this crazy talk, people think like I don't like school.
Crazy. No, it's not crazy.
School is very important. It's kind of like, builds up the brain of a person to be able to have the capability to think for themselves. But I think when it comes to university courses, I think there's a lot of courses that need to be checked out.
And I think the pandemic will force those courses
exactly.
to be checked out, to be honest.
If this pandemic, it's kind of a good thing. It kind of has to make people think.
Outside the box.
Outside of the box.
Been like,
inside of the box. And
now,
I blame the education system. I'm sorry, whoever is listening who's against me, but that's where I stand. And I've always stood.
Opinion, so
yes, I think the education system has kind of misled people. Because back home, you know what happens in Congo? The majority of people finish university. The majority, I would say 95%, when they finish what they're studying, they go back living with the parents because they can't find a job, they don't have skills of how to look for money. And they are still dependent on, I call it putting your life on someone's hands, because when you finish school, when somebody finishes school, what are they thinking? Let me go find a job. And to be honest with you, I don't like jobs. I haven't worked for anyone, for a long time now. And I think working for someone, it's not bad, but, people become dependent. When you work too long at a corporation, you become dependent. And I think it shuts down the creative, side of people's mind. And they become so dependent on the job, and that's it. There's this. I have a 2-bedroom flat where I'm renting, and there's this uncle of mine who, when the pandemic struck, he lost his job, and he came to live with me. He was living on my couch for like the whole last year, and the whole time he was there, I was kind of like trying to put some business ideas into him to encourage him.
Because he lost his job.
Yeah, he lost his job. But what he was thinking all the time was like, let me find a job, those small job, so I can get like weekend money that I can buy bread and all that. So for me, when I saw that, I was like, you know what, this is a virus. People's brains become.
It's the mindset.
It's the mindset, basically. The mindset,
You have to work for people.
You have to work for people.
They don't want to take risks.
They don't want to take risks, So I think that is something that needs to be really changed, beginning from our fathers, our grandfathers. We need to change that mindset of, because another example I can give is there's this friend of mine who I was going to the same high school with. I'm sorry if he's going to listen to this, but when it came to academics, that guy, he was, I don't know what word to apply to that, but he wasn't good at academics. But when you take a soccer ball and put on his feet, he's going to do wonders. But like his father was like, he kept on pushing him to study. But he wasn't good at it. And I was like, why not invest in the talent of the child? You understand? And until today, that boy is struggling. He's struggling, and
he probably he's stuck in that time that you had that emotional scar that you said. when you were doing electrical
Yes,
engineering,
yeah.
but you took that bold step to say, you know what, I'm changing.
I'm changing.
But probably he hasn't got an alternative.
Yes, I think he didn't have a choice because
he didn't have a choice.
his father was really imposing. I got lucky because my father was not here, so I got away with it. Yeah, But he was living with his father. It was either you do what I say while you are under my roof, and otherwise you're out.
So Moses, there you've done a lot for yourself. You've achieved so much, and I'm sure you've had some challenges along the way. What kind of challenges have you had?
Basically, the biggest challenge for me was, the fact that I didn't know much about, how to run a business. So the not knowing of how to, settle a business and all that was kind of challenging. Like, I didn't know exactly, like, how to, when I established the internet cafe, I didn't have the marketing skills and all those skills to maintain a business. So it was very challenging for me because I was doing things just following my gut, and I have lost a lot, I spent money that I did not have to, because I did not know like how it works. But as I was going, I was picking up the skills. I was asking questions to people who already were in the business.
In the industry.
So yeah, I kind of learned how to market myself, how to spend.
So obviously, you've gone that path, and as somebody who is not from South Africa, like you're from Congo, have you had any kind of challenge, in that area in terms of where you're from as a business owner, or even in school?
Yes, from the business side, one of the challenges was, when it comes to, as foreigners in this country, one of the biggest challenges we have is the documentations, which kind of like is a bottleneck for us to do the things we want to do because, the document I was using at the time was what we call the asylum, which didn't really permit me to kind of like do what I needed to do, because when it came to like going to the bank and like maybe get loans and all that, I didn't have the privileges. So everything I was doing was, I was using my own resources, and it was really tough. Maybe I want to buy like a machinery and it cost a bit much. And I had to like, hustle myself, I spent sleepless nights.
Thinking of where the money will come from.
So those were one of the challenges.
Okay.
And
but you've managed to overcome them.
I've managed to
and you've been an employer of five staff at the age of 25.
Yes.
I'm assuming there'll be South African staff.
I don't think I had a South African. I had a Zimbabwean guy, Congolese, and a Zambian.
So it depends on who, in terms of, it's not about you're employing them because of where they come from.
I look at the talents. I can't put someone based on where they are. I look at what they can bring to the business. Because the business is paying my rent, and I can't put someone based on a specific criteria, which is not going to help my business.
Although saying that, I'm going to go on to my next one, and we're going to probably round up very soon now. As an entrepreneur, and the fact that we are foreigners or expatriate or whatever migrant we want to call ourselves in here, you're putting back, you're paying your tax, you're putting into the community here, and through what you're doing as well. Are you open, to running training to empower some of the youth, South African youth, if they're willing to want to do that?
Yeah, sure. I don't see why not. Because, naturally, I always have this passion of transferring the knowledge that I have.
Yeah.
You know, wherever I find a chance to transfer the knowledge, I do so. You know, so I wouldn't mind to actually do it on a bigger scale.
Right.
Because usually I do it one-on-one, you know, when I find someone who has the passion that I have. So I always try to, you know, transfer the knowledge which I have. So yeah, I wouldn't mind to, you know,
I'll be coming back to you.
Yes.
We have a lot of young, black, and colored, male, female in the township who can benefit, you know, from some of the skills and knowledge that you probably have, and just even to mentor them and to help them, you know, think about how do you plan, you know, for the future. So I will be coming to meet you. You've said it on camera now.
I wouldn't mind. And it was on purpose that I said it because I knew why you were asking the question.
You knew why you were asking.
We are playing chess now.
Okay, my kind of last, second to the last one, which maybe just briefly, what are the pros and, you know, the benefit and disadvantage of being an entrepreneur? Because most of the time, a lot of people think, okay, yeah, you're an entrepreneur, you're working for yourself, no boss to answer to. Just very quickly, name maybe 2 or 3 good things about being and 2 or 3 not so good things, the disadvantage.
Let me start with the advantages. One of the biggest advantage is the freedom of the liberty, the time. Because when you are an entrepreneur, you can decide when you want to make money. There's nobody's behind your back telling you when you have to pitch up, you know, when you have to work. You know, so you have the complete freedom to decide when you want to work, when you want to make money, and if you want to sleep, you can sleep.
Nobody will come.
Nobody will come
unless you've got your money working for you.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, so that's one of the advantages.
Okay.
And one of the disadvantages is because we have to define what is an entrepreneur. There's a difference between being a businessman, having a business, being an entrepreneur, and self-employment. You know, when you are self-employed, is basically having a business, but you are the one working there. And an entrepreneur is someone, you have a business, but kind of like you have people who are working for you. And a business is something like an entrepreneurship but on a bigger scale. That is kind of my definition, my understanding of it. You know, so one of the disadvantages of being an entrepreneur is that, like I said, when you decide not to work, you don't make money. So being an entrepreneur, you actually have to sacrifice your time. Even though you have the freedom of saying, like, I'm not going to work today, but still you have to put in the time, you know, to be at the business place and, you know, to make money. Otherwise, you have to put people, employ people, whom you have to be paying them. And if your business is not doing so well, it's going to be a downside. You understand? So that's basically the disadvantages and the advantage I can think of. You know.
Awesome. Thank you. I know we could go on and on. My final question is, what kind of future do you see, or would you like to see in an ideal world for our youth in South Africa? Let's focus on South Africa.
You know, if I was a minister of education, I would, from high school, I would incorporate more subjects which are skill-based instead of general education, because I think the education that we have at the moment is too general, and I think we need to, you know, be specific, be dream oriented. You know, like, you know, we need to incorporate more skill based, you know, something that is going to give the youth skills which they can use into empowering themselves. Because you know, when you give someone a skill, they become independent. They won't have to depend on just, you know, finding work and all that. Because the danger of working is that, you know, when when your boss tells you you're fired, it turns people's world around. And for someone to be independent of that, they have to have skills. Like me, my skill is my ATM, I call it. Anytime I can tap into it, and it will bring me money. So I am independent. I don't depend on someone to...
So what skills, for the benefit of those that might be wondering, okay, what skills is he talking about?
Handwork. It depends on what it... You know, this thing we said of people having the drive, the passion, you know, which they pick up when they are children. So I think we need to identify what is the passion of every, you know, youth, child, and we need to invest in that. But for me, I think every youth has to learn skills, which is handwork, you know, like, it can be something like welding and wood.
Vocational things.
Exactly.
Trades, because you will always need that.
Exactly. And you would be surprised how much people make in those fields.
I know.
You would be surprised.
The amount I pay plumbers each time and electricians, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You only spend 10 minutes. And you're like,
you know. And
but
so,
people look down on such profession as a
there is
career.
a lot of, like, you know, the stability those people have, because money comes to them easily. He's going to do a small work of 10 minutes, but he can get like 5,000 rand, which is a salary for a month for a normal employee. You understand what I'm saying? So I think we need to incorporate more skill-based education from high school. You understand? So yeah.
Wow. I could go on and on and on with you. I've really enjoyed our time together.
Me too.
And I'm really inspired by you, and you're an inspiration to young people at 25 years old, running your own business, and as a foreigner, you know, in a country. So well done, and kudos, you know, to you for what you're doing. And we didn't even touch on the fact that, you know, you volunteer and support your church, you know, in the ministry work as well.
There's a whole idea behind that. You know, there's a lot of things that I believe in which has really helped me out. You know, one of them is, you know, there's this thing I bribe people with my kindness. You know, let me explain. You know,
no, don't worry. I even understand without you going there.
Yeah, so
but let me hear
you
you still.
You know, there's, you know, me, I'm a kind of person where there's a lot of people that I can go to right now. If I need a 10,000 right now, I can get it today, because there's a lot of things that I do with a purpose. You know,
it's called sowing seeds.
Exactly. I call it a debt. When somebody has your debt, believe me, that alone will be enough for them to do you favors in return. So I like to put people in my debt a lot, which I know whenever
they have a payback time.
They have a payback time. You understand? And there's a lot of people who I can go to right now. If I need 10,000 rand, I will get it. So that's how I actually survived in this country for a long time, because most of the things that I do, it's favors that people do me, because I have done so many.
And you too probably as well get God's favor.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, so
not probably. You definitely have God's favor.
Yeah, so your question, what I do for my church is, you know, God is someone who doesn't like to be in debt. When you put him in a debt, he's going to pay it quickly. You know, so that's one of the reasons why I, you know, basically do what I do.
Wow.
You know.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done, and thank you for your time. We're going
to
wrap it up there, and I look forward to having more conversation on the educational stuff. Yes. You know, there's a lot, you know, in here to, you know, take away with, and I just wish you all the very best in your endeavors.
Thank you.
And when you do decide to go back to DRC, I'm sure there's a lot you're going to, you know, take, you know, bring back there, and a lot of lives that you continue to change. Yes. And even while there, there's nothing stopping you from the technology from, now. Allows you know you to continue to put back, you know, in South Africa as a place. So in closing, I would like you to please give any word of encouragement to the young people
Yes.
out there.
Yeah, I would like to tell every young, people out there, this age of being a youth is a very critical age, which I think every youth needs to really find a way to equip themselves. If you're out there, you need to really equip yourself with the necessary talents and skills, which I think is going to help you in the future. Because the way things are going, the current world, things are going in such a way that the normal way in which we live of working for companies and all that, there's going to be a time where that is going to be not sufficient. And I think every youth has to have enough skill in order for them to, even if they don't manage to find themselves a job or anything, they will have enough skills to sustain themselves. So I believe if you're a youth out there, at this age already, you need to find a way to equip yourself with the necessary skills, which I think you're going to need at the later stage.
Deep words from a young voice.
Yeah, I'm just speaking from experience, because these are things that, it's not like things I've been watching people do. It's experiences which I have been through.
And experience is the best teacher.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Moses.
Thank you very much.
Wishing MNM Multimedia all the very best
yes.
for the future.
Thank you very
and
much.
Yeah, well, guys, you've heard it. Equip yourself with the necessary skills. We need more skills-based education in schools and a lot of other stuff that we spoke about. We'll share Moses' details if you want to visit his internet cafe or use his business or support his business through his service that he provides. We'll be sharing that. So thank you for watching. This is Mama K signing off till next time. And remember, God is love. Stay safe, stay blessed, love you.